What's up, people? It's the Hater, and I'm back. You know what I'm saying? Once the Royal Rumble starts, that's when I'll be back full-time. Best believe Season 2 starts the day of the Royal Rumble. But before that happens, I wanted to take a moment to talk about something else. You know what I mean? And that's this. What the hell has happened to men? All right? Now, here's the thing about this. A lot of people have their own takes on this, and in my personal opinion, very few of them got it right. You know what I mean? Now, recently, a man by the name of Andrew Tate, who I'm sure all of you know, was put in prison. He was arrested in Romania for apparently some sex trafficking or some other shit. I don't know, you know. That may or may not be true. We'll wait for the facts, as we always do here on the Hater channel. But nobody should be surprised just by the way that this guy carries himself. Now, I know you're thinking, Hater. You know what I'm saying? Andrew Tate, you know, he's a cool guy. You know, he says this, he says that. He's helped a lot of young men. And I'm sure he has. No one is denying that. But here's the problem, right? We either have it one way or the other, right? That's one of the biggest problems in this country and in this world. I recently saw a poll, and the poll said that about 48 or 49% of Americans believe that there are serious consequences to the COVID vaccine. And then the other largest segment of the poll was like 38% or something. And they said that anyone that doesn't agree with the vaccine must be a conspiracy theorist. Now, what's glaring about this is not the fact that the majority of people appear to be at least skeptical of the vaccine. That's whatever. Who cares about that? The real takeaway here is the polarity that we have between these two groups, right? There's no in-between at all, right? Just like there's no in-between with being men, right? Or being human beings, but specifically men. Now, on one camp, we have people like Harry Styles with his little Mickey Mouse tattoos, butterfly tattoo here, insect over there, a little thing over here with this goofy little hair, you know what I mean? Wearing dresses, wearing dangly earrings, all this other stuff. Now, the Hater, as all of you know, supports everyone's right to do whatever the hell they please as long as they're hurting nobody else. Now, we could argue this is hurting society at large, but we're not going to do that right now because we want to also look at the other side. As usual here on the Hater channel, we keep it 100, right? We say it like it is. On the other side, we have these very, very alpha-like people that, in my opinion, go a step too far. Now, Andrew Tate, obviously, is the embodiment of this. He's an intelligent man. There's no doubt about it. But the problem with him that I see is that he represents the other pole, the other side of the equation, the other extreme, right? And there's no need to go as far as he goes with all that goofy stuff that he says, you know, like, do this, do that, women should make me 2 coffees, all this garbage, you know what I mean? The reality is this, it's very, very easy to be a man. Now, of course, when I say that, I'm talking in relativity, right? Obviously, there are many problems that men have that are unique to men. High suicide rates, you know what I'm saying? High mortality in jobs. But that's not what we're going to talk about here. That's a video for another time, perhaps. But right now, I want to focus on the cultural elements of what it is to be a man, right? The issue that I have with all of these two groups, with both of these two groups, I should say, is that none of them represent the majority of people, right? Or neither of them represent what the majority of people should be like. Of course, there's room in society for goofs like Harry Styles and goofs like Andrew Tate. But the majority of us who are trying to move on with our lives, get a little bit better each day, do something with our lives, have some fun in the meantime, should not adhere to either of these, right? The world is not against you. It's not a conspiracy against you, right? Likewise, the world is not as tolerant as you may think, and it's not as lenient as you may think, and it probably shouldn't be as lenient as you may think if you're in the Harry Styles camp, right? Because at the end of the day, we have to look at something and judge it on its face value, right? Unless we have more information. Now, when I see Harry Styles, I see an opportunist, I see a charlatan, right? And I see the same thing when I see Andrew Tate. This man's got a Ponzi scheme. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, some of the things that he says are good, just like I'm sure some of the things that Harry Styles says are good as well. But neither of them represent what it means to be a good man, which means honor, perseverance, hard work, standing up for what's right. These are the things that we need to focus on. And now, granted, I will say it like it is. Andrew Tate does talk about some of these things. Where he loses me and where he loses a lot of people is in the other chapters, in the other things that he speaks about, which are things like women should know their place, all this other stupid crap. And here's the reality, right? A man who is secure, and I'm not saying Andrew Tate's insecure, nor am I saying Harry Styles is insecure, but a lot of the viewers of both of these people are insecure. And a lot of people will take the good and the bad. They will not filter it. They will not be able to understand that both Harry Styles and Andrew Tate are playing characters. Much like Batista and John Cena are playing characters, these two guys are playing characters too. And thus, we are left without any guidance, right? Either we have these red pill extremists, right, who are like, oh, I don't need women at all. Women are bad. There's a devil. Oh, they're all whores. Like all this stupid crap. Or we have the other side of the equation, which is like, oh, women are good. We should believe everything they say. And like, I want to be a woman sometimes too. Like all this stupid crap. No, that might be a segment of the population and good for them. Just like it's good for the other side if you want to do that, unless you're harming someone. But the vast majority of us are completely underrepresented by anything in mainstream media or even in the fringes of YouTube and other places, right? That's why the hater exists. That's always been my MO. First, it was about wrestling. As you'll see, if you look at my old videos, I'm not out here fanboying for anybody. Sure, I got my favorites, but I'm not out here saying John Cena's the best or Kenny Omega's the best. Neither of them are the best. Well, maybe John Cena, you can make an argument. But the point is what the point is, right? The fact is we have no guidance. There's no one guiding anybody on what it means to be a regular person, right? You ever watch a high school movie? You know, a movie that's set in high school or maybe a show. I don't watch many of them, but when I was young, here and there I would, right? And I always told people, I said, the most underrepresented person in these high school movies, you got everybody in the movies. You got the golf kid, you got the popular kid, you got the jock, you got the cheerleader, you got the geek, you got the nerd, you got the guy who plays Magic the Gathering. The most underrepresented character in these high school movies, just like in life, is the regular guy. I was a regular guy in high school, right? I would go to class, I'd go home, I'd do my homework, I'd get my A's, sometimes B's, cucks, you know what I'm saying? I'd do that, I'd listen to my parents, and I'd be as good of a friend and individual as I could be, right? These are the people that are underrepresented. It's almost as if society wants you to either accept your role in domination. Either you are the dominator, Andrew Tate, or you are the dominated, Harry Styles. But what about being a normal person? None of that alpha male, sigma male nonsense. How about be a male, right? If you're a male, and be a female if you're a female. We all know what's right, and we all know what's wrong. I don't just mean morally, but I mean socially and culturally. We look at something, and we see, and we think, do I adhere to this? Am I this? Should I be this, right? Same thing with all these fitness influencers. Go to the gym, do this, do that. Go to the gym for your own self. If you go to the gym every day like the hater does, you know what I'm saying? You will see results. You will get stronger. But your goals should never be, I want to look like John Cena. You know what I mean? Unless you want a career in that field, right? Your goal should be, I want to get stronger and I want to improve. And that's what's missing in this equation, right? That's what's missing. That's why I say, what happened to men? Now, to get a little bit deeper, right? There are certain axioms. Look up the word axioms if you don't know it. There are certain axioms that are necessary in being a man, right? A lot of these have inappropriately been considered to be toxic masculinity. And charlatans like Andrew Tate have taken this and have amplified it intelligently, might I add, right? To the extreme, right? Someone says, don't ever mistreat women. That is an axiom of being a man. You should never mistreat women. Now, of course, I know some of you are thinking, oh, but hater, what if you come home and your wife is drowning your 3 children? Yes, then you may have to put her in a chokehold, right? Extreme situations call for extreme actions. But generally speaking, it's almost like the code of the cowboy. That's what we're missing, right? You want to be a cowboy. Oh, but hater, the cowboys massacred the Indians. Forget about that. I'm talking about the code, the chivalry, right? The things that make men into men. This is what's going to make you more desirable. This is what's going to make you more successful. And the reason I say this is because I know this, motherfuckers. I know this. You will not believe the kind of fuck up the hater was in his youth. You would not believe the kind of shit the hater was going through when he started this channel. But I have improved consistently over these years, and I feel a duty to share this to the people that listen to me. And in my personal life, and I figured, why not throw it to the hater universe? You know what I'm saying? And that's what's missing. We don't have anyone, and I'm not saying anyone should be looking up to me. I know some people do, you know what I'm saying? I get your emails. I love and appreciate all of you. I'm not saying anybody should look up to me, but people should look up to themselves and what they want to be. You don't need a blueprint, a step-by-step guide on how to and you should be impressed by things like, oh, I got 20 Lamborghinis. Trust me, the hater's doing just fine. The hater's always been a Jeep guy. Always been a Jeep guy. In high school, my parents got me a Jeep. In college, I had Jeeps. In law school, I had Jeeps. But then, once the hater settled down, I started thinking, is the Jeep appropriate for me? Or is it a complete waste of money? The hater ain't a millionaire yet. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right, I'm not going to do that anymore because it's time to change my priorities. The priorities are no longer go riding with the top down. You know what I'm saying? Although that sounds pretty cool to the hater right now, but these are the facts, right? What I'm trying to get at is this. We had in the past role models, right? But more importantly, we had in the past the ability to discern exaggeration from truth. The hater knew. As a child, I loved The Rock. The Rock was one of my heroes in life, right? But I knew that it's not appropriate to go and do a rock bottom on the school principal. I knew this, right? Obviously, we understand these things. However, with the internet and the fact that you go online and you can put yourself down a rabbit hole quick, man, especially with these YouTube shorts, you click on one, boom, all of a sudden, everything's Andrew Tate. You know what I'm saying? Or boom, all of a sudden, everything is like, I don't know, Harry Styles, right? So the hater wants everyone to be wary of these things. You know, it's not ever as simple as it seems. I'm not going to sit here and ramble on about conspiracies and all this other stupid crap, because that's another byproduct, right? That poor guy in the NFL who just had the cardiac arrest, the cardiac arrest, everyone's like, must be because of the vaccine. There's absolutely zero evidence of this whatsoever, right? The hater, not a huge fan of the vaccine, you know, but there's no evidence of it. You can't just find something and fit it into your paradigm and say, oh, now everything makes sense. If I take this thing and interpret it the way that I'm supposed to interpret it based on my own axioms and my own paradigms, then yes, everything makes sense. But if someone else can do the same exact thing and take it differently, right? Take it a different route. And that's not conducive to any kind of happiness or health in the general population, right? That's what I'm getting at. It's the same. Everyone does this to a certain degree. But it's important that we have the mechanisms, especially if we're young, because the amount of young people on the internet is astounding. And the amount of horrible advice they're getting in life this will be felt for generations to come, right? People growing up trying to emulate Andrew Tate, drinking sparkling water and coffee, which I both love actually, but neither here nor there. The point being, you don't want to emulate anybody. You want to sit down. Every once in a while, I'm not going to be like, I'll do it every day for an hour. Once in a while, sit down and think, who am I? Who do I want to be? What am I going to do to get there, right? And the most important part of that is definitely what am I going to do to get there, but also who do I want to be? And if your answer makes you cringe a little bit, you do this, look at yourself in the mirror. If you say to yourself, I want to be a womanizer, right? I want to have 10 wives, right? You look at yourself in the mirror, and if you feel a little bit of shame, right? If you feel a little bit of shame, then you know that's not the right answer. And that's all I want to say. It's as simple as that. Nowadays, we are being inundated with these versions of masculinity. The mainstream media has chosen their sides, and it looks like YouTube has chosen their side, Andrew Tate. But neither of these situations are conducive to being happy. Now, I know a lot of people think it's a conspiracy. Andrew Tate's in prison because, it's a conspiracy to stop him, right? But let's be real. If you're intelligent, you know this is completely consistent with what he says. I'm not saying he did it, but it's consistent with his general attitude of, I don't care, I'll do whatever the hell I want. Someone who has the attitude of, I don't care, I'll do whatever the hell I want, in France, back in the day, England as well, was called a libertine, right? These people were sexual deviants, they were weirdos, right? And there's a reason for this, right? And the reason is, when you have no consequences, whether they be legal, moral, or personal, you are unhinged. This is not unique to any individual or any group of individuals. This is a human trait. But a real man knows how to control the things that he wants and the things that he needs. A real man does what's right and wrong. I can tell you this, the hater has made many mistakes. Too many to count. The hater has ruined his life several times only to pick himself up and fall again and pick himself up and fall again, and now I'm picking myself up, haven't fallen yet, right? But the one thing that has remained constant in my life, I can count 2 or 3 times maybe, where I've really screwed up, where I have done, and none of these things have had any consequence on me. The other things that have had consequences on me were mistakes. I've made a lot of mistakes, but very seldom have I done the wrong thing on purpose. Very, very seldom, because I can't live with myself if I do that. I hold myself to a very high level of character, and I want everyone to do that. And that's what's important. It's not about the results you get. It's about how you feel about it. It's about the climb, as Miley Cyrus once told us poignantly, right? A few times, one time I lied to my mom. I know people lie to their parents all the time. Not me. I don't do that because I understood from an early age that my parents want what's best for me. Now, of course, that's not the case with everyone's parents, so I'm not here telling you what to do and what not to do. That's the difference between me and everybody else. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what to like. I never have said like this, like that. Everything has been my opinion, right? And that's what's important. Never push your ideals on anyone else. Never present them as if they're better than anyone else's. Present them as if they're your own ideas, and maybe some people might benefit from listening, right? Obviously, we all know that we all think we have life figured out. Obviously, the fact that it's almost 2 a.m. and I'm not in bed yet must be either a mistake or I must think that this is a normal way to live, right? I cannot tell anyone what time to go to bed. I cannot tell anyone what time to wake up. I can only do what I think is best and tell you, hey, this is what I think is best. To you, it might not work. You might have to get up early in the morning, go to work, or whatever the case may be, right? But that's what's important. Men need to push each other up. And when I say men, I mean people generally, right? Because all of this applies to women too. You don't want to be shaking your ass on TV because Lizzo, that hippopotamus, decided to do the same. No. That's not how it works. You don't want to be a prude and a nun, right? You want to be a normal person. Have respect for yourself and have respect for others. Help out when you can and be happy all other times. That's the key to life, in my personal opinion. I ain't even that old, and I'm out here spitting truths. So before you find yourself going on MGTOW and all this other stupid crap, you know what I'm saying? Or before you find yourself, oh, maybe I'm a girl or whatever, ask yourself this: who am I? Look yourself in the mirror and say, who am I? And also ask yourself, what happened to men? Men and women of character and strength that people like me and you can never even fathom, right? I could tell you stories of men and women that have done incredible things, and I've overcome incredible pressures. I can even tell you anecdotal stories of worse, and I can tell you historical accounts of people that have had worse lives than you're not going to ever imagine. Consider this: a lot of people in the history of Earth, whether it be in America, in Europe, South America, Asia, have lived lives of slaves. I mean, they have been born a slave, they have been worked to the bone for 70 years, and then they have died a slave. And these people had incredible strength and character to even continue to do that, right? And nowadays, we have people being like, oh, I didn't get what I wanted, I didn't get the job that I wanted, oh, my life is over. You know, like, I see that sometimes in people. Like, I see that in people that are close to me, that are a little bit younger, or even a little bit older, and I tell them, I'm like, yo, we're in our 30s, because I don't really have any 40-year-old friends, you know what I'm saying? But at most, we're in our 30s. We're too young to be this depressed, right? People, something goes wrong, like, oh, I had a fender bender, my life is ruined. No, it isn't. People have gone to war and lost limbs and have come back to have productive lives. You surely can get over your fender bender. That's what we need. We need strength of character. And what I mean by that is raw, pure, honorable strength of character. Not this kind of stuff that puts you in these situations where you have to be rude to people. And I understand the irony. I'm the hater, you know what I'm saying? But it is the truth. You don't want to do that. The hater's done it all, cucks. The hater's done it all. And I can tell you from experience. You know what I'm saying? Now, would the hater want a Lamborghini? Not particularly, but if I had one, of course, I'd take it, right? So there is some truth to the people that espouse those things too. But that should not be your focus. Your focus should be happiness, security, and safety. Let's assume that for a minute, right? Let's entertain the possibility that Andrew Tate and the other people are not innocent, like the conspiracies would have us believe. Let's entertain the possibility that they're guilty, right? Then what? Let's say Andrew Tate, who's in his mid-30s, goes to prison for 25 years in Romania, right? The many children he claims to have with the many women, what are they left with? They're left fatherless. He has failed at doing what he has espoused to do, right? Because he has not taken responsibility for the way that he has portrayed himself. Now, again, this is a criminal investigation, so I would never speak unless I know the facts. But as I wrote in a YouTube video, everyone, specifically about Andrew Tate's situation, everyone that is quickly condemning him, all the liberals who are like, I finally got what he deserved, I hope he burns in hell. All those people are horrible people. But the people that are defending him without any form of evidence are also horrible people. Maybe they're a little bit better because they're not wishing for someone to burn in hell, you know, but they are people that are indoctrinated. They are sheep, and you do not want to be a sheep, because at the end of the day, you can be a sheep, you can sell your soul. You can be like one of these rappers who goes out there, has one character completely. Here's a perfect example, Terry Crews. Terry Crews made an ass out of himself for decades in low-budget movies. Now, I like Terry Crews to a certain extent. Now, after sucking the dick of Hollywood for decades, finally it's his time to shine, and good for him, because I like the kid. But what did he have to do to get there? He had to debase himself time and time again. Now, of course, when people debase themselves, they often portray this as some form of comeuppance, as some form of, oh, this is what I deserve. Or they portray it as like, well, I wasn't really debasing myself, Oh, I didn't want to, I have no problem wearing a dress on TV. Maybe they don't, but some of them must. Right? All of a sudden, these dudes, like you see all these rappers, have you noticed that? All these rappers, once in a while, they'll have like a music video where they're like in a dress. Right? It's like all these dudes that 2 songs ago, they were telling me how hard and manly they are. Right? All of a sudden, it's a guy in a dress. Now, either you've been lying to me about how hard and manly you are, or, You're lying when you put on the dress, right? You're not comfortable and you're doing it anyways because you're told to do it. And that's the problem, right? Now, I would, as an objective observer, I would say that it's probably somewhere in the middle. Some of them don't care about wearing dresses, and some of them do and do it for the money. It doesn't matter. The point I'm trying to make is be your authentic self. You will never find happiness like you will by being who you are. It doesn't matter who you are. Be who you are. Of course, don't take this and go like start, shooting up schools. That's insane. Be who you are, but don't hurt anybody else. And that's the code of being a man. That and protect those you love and try to do as much good as you can. Do you want to know what one of my New Year's resolutions is? Well, one of them is to invest a lot more time on this channel. But another one is to volunteer more, right? I want to do volunteer work. I want to help people intimately, right? That makes me feel good. It's altruistic to an extent, but it makes me feel good. You know why it makes me feel good? Because I know it's the right thing to do. And if you find yourself in a situation where it's like, oh, I'm gonna go play some more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, or I can go help someone build a house, maybe think about building the house. You will feel better at the end. Sure, you won't catch your Annihilate, you know what I'm saying? You won't catch your Pikachu, but you will feel better and you will have helped someone else. That's the beauty of life. And that's the beauty of being a man, a woman, a child, anything. Be with love. Be with peace, and do not listen to the charlatans on the internet. If anyone, ask yourself this, the last thing I'm saying. If anyone is making money off of you, do not listen to their advice. Because more likely than not, even if the advice is correct, more likely than not, it is influenced by the money, right? Andrew Tate, when I found out that he has some Ponzi scheme essentially, where you go to the Hustler Academy and then you sign up and then you can get people to sign up, and every time you sign someone up, you get like $10 back. It's a Ponzi scheme. Anytime that someone does something and they're doing it for the money, don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. That's why you should listen to celebrities. You should listen to athletes. You should listen to anybody because it's not their true self. You shouldn't even listen to people that have big podcasts, right? Unless you can feel and you can sense that they're authentic people. And if you look at Andrew Tate for 1 second and you're over the age of 15, you know he's not authentic. You know he's a charlatan. You can just look at him and be like, oh, this guy's full of shit. You know what I'm saying? Now, doesn't mean, like Patrice O'Neal, one of my heroes in life, said, if someone tells you 2 + 2 is 4, and then they shove marbles up their ass, you might think they're insane for shoving marbles up their ass. Doesn't mean that 2 + 2 isn't 4, though. 2 + 2 is still 4. So be vigilant. But what happened to men, guys? What happened to men? One side and then the other side. Nothing in between. Be the in-between. Be the in-between. Find your balance and find your happiness. No way you're going to convince me that Harry Styles is happy being mocked relentlessly for wearing dresses and dangly earrings. No way you're going to convince me that Andrew Tate is happy right now in his prison cell in Romania. No way you're going to convince me that LeBron is happy going to bed every night and knowing that he supports China. No way you're going to convince me that they might be completely morally daft, but I have a feeling they're not. I have a feeling they're just sellouts, right? And that's why the hater never liked sellouts. And with that being said, cucks, wait for the Royal Rumble for the triumphant return of the hater cuckolds.